I'm Will Lockamy.
And I'm Reed Lockamy.
This is the Iron Bowl Hour.
Or as we like to call it, the show that thinks that people who say we ain't come to play school probably need to spend a little more time playing school.
On tonight's show,
you bring Betty White in, right? Let her hit the recruiting trail. That's gonna, listen, well, she's hot. She'll bring in players.
She's hot.
People love her.
Did Bear Bryant show the proper respect when he called Auburn a cow college, or was that comment too flattering? Welcome to Agree to Disagree. Reed, this is where we can't agree with each other even if we want to.
That's all right, Will, because I don't want to agree with you ever.
Should Auburn retain Gene Chizik at the end of the year even if he doesn't win another single game?
All right, Will, I'd like to address this and just put this issue to rest, because you hear a lot of people after the Arkansas loss saying, you know, oh, Auburn's got to cut and run. It's right now they got to be looking for a new coach, and that is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
This is not the time to look for a new coach. That was a month ago is when they should have started looking for a new coach. Probably have another one already figured out by this point. Once Auburn lost to Mississippi State, the writing was very clear on the wall, right? Gene Chizik has got to go. Ever since the 2010 season, he is a coach in crisis, and listen, he's slipping down to the 500 level. I think he's 9-9 after the 2010 season, and 500 is good in baseball.
Why do we not
That's
count
500 games a season is what they play, and that's good.
Why do we not count the 2010 season?
We can count it just fine, but look at what's happened since then, right?
Yeah,
and it's not
that was a senior-laden team, Reed. The whole team is all seniors. Every player on that team, I think, Albee was a senior that year. Everybody's gone. He's had to totally rebuild the whole team.
And he has not done it, and that's the thing. That's right. He should have been rebuilding the team and having like a decent football team who can beat John L. Smith's football team, and he hasn't. So he's got to go.
Back-to-back top 5 recruiting classes. He now has a whole new system he's having to implement, new recruiters on both sides of the ball. So these players are having to learn that. Reed, don't get me wrong. This is ugly, really bad what's happening in Auburn.
But now listen, let's not bring Jake Collins' hair into the situation.
It's gone now. Yeah. Look, no one is happy about this, of course, except Alabama fans.
Well, they're loving it.
I've seen that on Facebook.
No doubt about that.
They're having fun, for sure.
No
one's liking what's going on down there in Auburn. Reed, you have to give him time.
Don't tell me what to do. I don't have to do anything.
Two new coordinators, and here's the big thing. The buyout, Reed, is $7.5 million. Louder's gone. Who's got that kind of money?
That's chump change right now for Auburn while they're still making money with their football program. So that's exactly why you have to get rid of him, bring in a new coach, and I've got a good idea for this, right? Okay, think about how popular this person has been in recent years. It's Betty White. If you bring Betty White in as the coach, let her sort of be the Bill Oliver of this season for Auburn, and she's real popular. People love her. They wanted her on Saturday Night Live. They'll want her in Jordan-Hare as well. Bring her in. That's going to fix everything.
That's possibly the only way to make the season more laughable is to bring Betty White in.
Yeah.
But Reed, how about this? The only good thing going on now for Auburn is their recruiting. If you get rid of Gene Chizik, all that's gone as well.
Did you not listen to what I just said? You bring Betty White in, right? Let her hit the recruiting trail. That's going to, listen, well, she's hot. She'll bring in players.
She's hot.
People love her. I mean, popular hot.
I don't think people love her.
What did you think I meant?
I don't think people love her like that.
Not attractive, hot, popular, hot. The SEC is known for, among other things, its traditional uniforms. Should Missouri have to tone theirs down if they want to stay in the conference?
Reed, if there's one thing I know, it's good style. People always talk about my good style and how I look good and what I wear, right? Yeah. And that's something they all the time. And that's something the SEC can be proud of as well. We have some of the best uniforms in the country. They're classic.
Yeah.
They don't change much. They're not flashy and over the top. They're not faddish, if you will. It doesn't come and go.
Yeah.
It sticks to what is good. And Missouri is not fitting in with this. So I think Mike Slive should have addressed this before he ever invited them.
Here's the thing. With the way you started this argument, it sounded like you were going to argue that Missouri should have these stylish uniforms, and then you went with some kind of crazy, like, I know style, and let's wear the most boring thing ever. Remember a couple of years ago in Alabama was like, we're going to wear those crazy Nike uniforms or whatever, and what they did was change a small accent around you couldn't even tell that's no sense of style at all. Look at teams like Oregon, right, who are stylish teams, and think about what Missouri has done with their uniforms. If you look at Missouri from a few years ago and compare them now, what they're doing, this is a much more attractive thing, for these young kids who are looking for what team they want to play for. They like these interesting uniforms.
Yeah, the viewers and I should listen to what's attractive to the guy that thinks Betty White is hot.
I meant popular hot, and you know that, Will. Listen, the point is this. I know that Missouri's uniforms are confusing, right? And we've had some old men on our show as guests, and they've been confused by it, and I can understand that too. But you know, because when I looked at it, I thought maybe that was an eagle on their helmet.
I didn't know what it was.
It's a tiger of some sort, I think. But here's the thing: it's intriguing, and young people like it, and young people play football, not old men on our show will.
Reed, listen again. I'm young. I know what's hip and popular. The uniforms in the SEC are the way to go, and Missouri does not fit in with that. They need to change.
Listen, Will, just because Eli Gold likes, you know, crimson uniforms with plain numbers on the helmet or whatever.
And the stripes down the side.
That's right, yeah. Just because that's Eli's thing doesn't mean that, you know, 17-year-old kids who are good at running with a football in their hand are going to like that. They like flashy things, and Missouri is on the right path. Listen, A&M, they're not going to last very long with these boring outfits. Alabama better enjoy it while they've got it, because before too long, they're going to have to go with some kind of crazy silver uniform.
Reed, I know style, and I prefer to keep my stripes and my hoodies.
That was so grammatically incorrect. I hate to even correct you. It's not I know style, it's I have no style. That's what, I don't know. That was ridiculous. Yeah. All right, so Will, coming up after the break, I'm going to take you and the viewers to Tuscaloosa to see what kind of tailgating things go on there before a big game, or even before the Western Kentucky game.
Reed, now that Alabama games are so boring and predictable, what Alabama fans do when they go to Tuscaloosa for fun?
Well, everyone knows what Alabama fans do for fun. Will they win national championships? That's the Alabama way.
Yeah, but like regular people things, like tailgating.
Oh, that's a good question. I thought you might ask that. So we put together a piece where I went down to Tuscaloosa to see what all happens before a game. Well, here we are. It's game day in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and my mission today is going to be to have the fullest, most rich tailgating experience possible. Now, as a Tulane fan, I have no idea what constitutes a good tailgating experience, but we're going to talk to some experts today and get advice from them about what sorts of things we have to do if we really want to make the most of the experience. All right, I see what appears to be a pretty serious griller here, so I'm going to go see what exactly he is grilling. It looks exciting. It could be something, I don't know, some kind of major barbecue. With a grill like this, you'd expect something pretty exciting. Well, I came over because we saw your extremely fancy grill, which even has some sort of an exhaust system, and I was expecting something a little more exciting than hot dogs here. That's what you're grilling here.
This is the pre-warm-up.
This is just a Western Kentucky game. Is that maybe why just the
we're
hot
downplaying it. Downplaying it.
Is that what Nick Saban would say? Is let's just cook the hot dogs for this game? No big deal. Easy opponent, easy win. All right, I am standing here on the quad with Connor and Corbin, who we happened upon as they were in the middle of some hot cornholing action. If the two of you guys versus me, who do you think is better? You guys or me?
Definitely us.
Okay, interesting. Well, there's one way to settle this. Why don't we cornhole just a little bit and see who wins? Okay, great. Oh no, that's just warming up right now. There we go. All right, so that was an absolute smackdown, probably similar to what we're going to see with Alabama and Western Kentucky this afternoon. Would you like to, at this point, take an opportunity to apologize to me for even challenging me in this game? Here's a pretty excited group of people here at Tent 162, really fired up about the Western Kentucky game. All right, place kick coming up. Ready? This can go anywhere. If there's one thing that we have to do at your tailgate to really say that we got the full experience, what would it be?
Well, I think to start with, the thing that separates the better guys from the rookies is high-def TV.
Absolutely, because regular definition television is ridiculous. It's a joke. All right, I'm standing here with what I'm being told is a Western Kentucky fan, although he seems to have some sort of a Looney Tune logo on his shirt. What is your name?
My name is Geth
Churrock, and that is Big Red, that Looney Tune you speak of.
Now, did you say Geoff?
Geoff, G-E-F, yes.
Now, normally people would call themselves Jeff, but you go by Geoff.
This is true.
Is that a name, kind of like this football team that you support, is that a name that is to be taken seriously, do you think? Do you think that there's a chance that Western Kentucky is going to be competitive in the game today?
No.
I've heard some people estimate that Western Kentucky is expected to bring tens of fans to this game. Is that true?
Maybe 20.
Maybe 20 fans. That's impressive.
But while you might think tailgating has been around Alabama forever, you would be wrong and should feel embarrassed for thinking so. Sharon Nunn of the Hackberry High Tiders tells us how she was one of the first.
Back in the 90s, a group of us were at Ole Miss and was just taken the way they tailgated in the Grove.
Right.
The idea sparked that, well, why can't we do that in Tuscaloosa? We have all that space and nobody is ever, using it. We chose a spot on the quad to the right of the library. We always, chose specialty drinks, like mimosas and all kinds of things to do. No store-bought food. Did the tables at first, we added the candlelight at night, then we decided tents to shade us.
And this was around what year?
This was in the 90s, and probably the mid-90s is when this was.
So leading up to the mid-90s, people weren't tailgating here in Tuscaloosa, so Alabama football really wasn't that big of a deal, I guess, until the mid-90s.
Well, Alabama football has always been a big deal.
But not big enough of a deal to tailgate.
Right.
Has Nick Saban called to thank you for what you got started here at Alabama? No, not yet.
No, not yet.
He's a busy man.
I don't think he knows that.
It was a great day for tailgating and everyone had a great time. Except that Western Kentucky fan. His team did not score points that day.
Reed, after spending all that time in Tuscaloosa, are you an Alabama fan now?
Yep.
Well, that was quick.
No, I'm just joking. I'm still Tulane, Will.
Tulane?
That's what you call a true Tulane fan, Tulane.
Well, I guess that's what we are then. No. Reed, up next after the break, we'll interview Gary Sanders. He's the guy that called the Bama punt play. Reed, it's time for rapid fire questions on the grill, brought to you by Billy's Sports Grill with former Auburn broadcaster Gary Sanders.
I wish this was an actual grill because it is freezing up here.
Too cold. Here we go.
Bigger Iron Bowl comeback, punt Bama punt, or the 2010 game in Tuscaloosa?
I have no knowledge of the 2010 game in Tuscaloosa.
Wow.
Excuse me. I thought you would give me the score. No, I'll give Cam Newton credit. That was a bigger comeback. But not as much fun because I wasn't there.
No, maybe you just totally checked out.
Oh, yeah, that was something. Yeah.
2010, I thought you'd give me a score.
That made sense, yeah.
You gave Roger Mitchell credit for Newton's game-winning block in the famous punt Bama punt game. How long did it take Newton to forgive you for that?
I don't think he has yet, but I don't really care because Roger blocked the extra point after Alabama's touchdown. He deserves some credit.
There you go.
Well, when you did accidentally give him credit for the punt, how long did Roger Mitchell get away with milking that situation for all it was worth?
I haven't asked Roger that, but he told me his mother thought that until she passed away.
Well, there we go.
Well played.
All's well that ends well.
That's right. Does it bother you if I say Shug Jordan?
Yeah, because first it's Shug and second it's Jordan. It's not Jordan.
That's two reasons.
Correct.
Two reasons.
There you go.
If the Iron Bowl was a Star Wars film, what role would Nick Saban play?
I'm not that familiar with Star Wars characters, and he's not tall enough to be Darth Vader.
Maybe Yoda.
It was a Yoda joke.
Yeah,
yep.
Okay, all right. You ready to ride an elevator, Will?
Let's go to the elevator.
Absolutely.
How about let's go to the warmth?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Now, Reed, even as big Tulane fans, how many times have you heard Auburn going after it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going after a win? Not that often.
No, punt, Bama punt, Reed, that call.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
It came out of his mouth, former Auburn play-by-play man, Gary Sanders.
Yeah.
It is blocked! It is blocked! It's caught on the run! It's caught on the run! He's going to score! David Langner! David Langner has scored! And Auburn has tied the game! And Roger Mitchell blocked the kick! Roger Mitchell blocked the kick, and it's 16-16.
Well, let's jump right to that iconic call because, and I just want to ask you this up front. Apparently, there's a ringtone now that you can get of that. How did that come to be the case?
Well, if you want to irritate all your Alabama friends and you have that kind of phone, now I'm a dinosaur. My phone only has one ring, but if you can put a ringtone on, you can get the second block punt.
Now, here's the thing, only, half of the state in theory would be interested in purchasing that ringtone. Have you ever thought about going back and recording a new one where you say, and the punt is off and it looks like Alabama's going to win this game?
No, I've never thought of that because I have to get a visa to go to Tuscaloosa, so I don't really worry about what they think of me in Tuscaloosa. I've always been very popular down there. I spoke to their touchdown club, quarterback club, whatever they call it. A veterinarian introduced me. I guess the only Auburn guy in town. And I said, a lot of you don't like me because I do Auburn, but I know you'll feel warmer when you know I went to school at Tennessee. And so there's all three strikes, Auburn, Tennessee, UAB.
In the 1972 Iron Bowl, Auburn, of course, blocked 2 Alabama punts.
Yes.
There's only one call that you primarily hear. Is that the first punt or the second one?
Second one is the one you hear most often.
That's the one.
Yeah. The first one was a little confusing. Yeah, I said Auburn's loading up. They're going after the kick. They got it. And then one of the officials, when Langner picked up the ball on the bounce, one of the officials threw his hat down at that spot, like he was marking the spot. Now, I thought it ought to be a touchdown, but you never know with those guys in striped shirts. You got to wait. And so when that was declared a touchdown, then when they blocked the second one, there wasn't any doubt in any of our minds where Langner was going and what it was going to be. And extra point, Gardner Jet. I saw Gardner the other night. He's still about 145 pounds like he was back when he kicked that field goal. And I still love Coach Jordan's line on the field goal. He put him in when it was 16-0. He said there's 2 reasons that we kicked a field goal. 1, we couldn't run the ball, and 2, we couldn't pass the ball. So we decided to kick field goal, and it's the only time at Legion Field with the seats divided 50-50, both sides booed. Auburn booed because they thought that meant Coach Jordan was giving up. Alabama booed because the betting line was 16, and that made it 16-3. So
bunch of gamblers, those Alabama fans.
But it was fun. It was fun.
Maybe that's why the referee threw his hat on the ground. He had some money on the game, and he was upset. Perhaps he was a Steve Spurrier type of thing.
That Coach Jordan line makes you think of this year's Auburn team. Can't really run the ball, can't really throw the ball. Having trouble, but they can kick.
Yeah, well, I've only seen Auburn on television. I was down at Auburn the night before the Arkansas game, and I know there was a lot of trepidation out in the RV parking lot. There were a lot of worried people, and I don't know what the end result is going to be, and it really isn't my problem anymore. I've been gone. I got to figuring I wanted to see how different Auburn was in 33 years since I've done the broadcasts, and 40 years since the block punts. So things have changed. The only thing you can be sure of that will never change. There will be change.
So as a play-by-play guy, and you worked at Auburn for 11 years, when the team is struggling, like the team is this year, for example, and there you are, you're calling games and you're a fan of the team, is it sometimes difficult to keep your disappointment or even sometimes anger over the poor performance out of your voice?
You know, you might criticize an official or two when things are going badly. I spent 4 years with Vanderbilt, so I had a little training.
Not only were you the voice of the Auburn Tigers for 11 years, but of course you had a long career with UAB, and we were talking off camera about all the announcing you've done. How did you get started in this line of work to set yourself up for such a long career?
Well, my mother tells me that, or did tell me, when I was a little kid, I would read the newspaper out loud. There was a sportscaster named Bill Stern that I wouldn't miss every night, and one of the things Bill Stern did was greatest stories in sports. He would bring to life a game from the past, whether it's Babe Ruth or Ted Williams or what, and I idolized Bill. I found out later he was hooked on morphine. He had an auto accident and the doctors got him hooked. But anyhow, I always wanted to do that, and then the other option was if I didn't do this, I might have had to get a job and work, and so
you don't want that.
This beat working for a living. You know, the nice part, and I spoiled my dad. I got tickets to a Tennessee-Alabama game one time at Legion Field, and my dad lived in Chattanooga. And I called him and said, "You want to come see Tennessee-Alabama?" And he said, "Won't you be in Atlanta?" And I said, "Yeah, Auburn, Georgia Tech, and Atlanta." He said, "Well, then I won't have a parking place. I won't get in the press box. So you park close, you go to the press box, you eat and drink free. There's no lines at the men's room. It spoils you.
Gary Sanders, the walking encyclopedia. That's what I've learned.
I could tell you a few more stories. You want to do 2 or 3 more shows while we're here?
I can call in sick to work tomorrow. No doubt about
I thought I was going to get Auburn's going after it out of you. But
well, you know, it's blocked. It's blocked.
Very nice.
That's pretty good.
Thanks, Gary. Up next is the Wickles Pickles Picks of the Week. Read it is time for the Wickles Pickles Picks of the Week. And of course, when the Lockme brothers pick pickles, we pick Wickles.
Yeah, because a Wickle will tickle your taste buds just right. Now, Will, you know the way that this works is we pick the games each week, and however many points we're off by, that's how many points we pick up in this competition. The lower your score, the better.
Yeah.
Now, last week, both of us were way off with the victory that Alabama had over Auburn. That's what John L. Smith and I call Arkansas. Gotcha. So that was a big win for Arkansas / Alabama.
Auburn's screwing this up for us.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So right now, Will, through the season, I am ahead of you by 8 points. I'm 8 points lower than you. Now let's pick both games this week.
Okay.
Both Alabama and Auburn are on the road. Alabama versus Missouri. What do you say?
I'm going to say Alabama by 28, Reed. I don't think Missouri's going to have their starting quarterback.
Okay, well, I'm going to say Alabama by 24.
No, I think they're going to go easy on them.
I don't know why I think that, but I'm going to say 24. Now, how about Auburn on the road playing Ole Miss, the Black Bears, Will?
Against my better judgment, I'm saying Auburn wins this by 7.
I think Auburn finds a way to accidentally win this game by 3 points.
Come on, Auburn. Don't let us down this time.
Yeah.
And don't forget, of course, you can follow us at the Iron Bowl Hour on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and you can listen to our radio show, Oh Brother Radio, every Thursday night on Birmingham Mountain Radio.
Yeah, now, Will, that's all the time we have for this week's show. I got to get out of here. I have a national championship tennis tournament to go play in.
What?
It was actually last week, but I want to keep talking about it. It was the national championship tennis tournament.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We didn't win, though.
It's all the time we have for the Iron Bowl Hour. I'm Will Lockme.
And I'm Reed Lockme.
Roll Eagle, Reed.
And War Tide, Will.
The Iron Bowl Hour is brought to you by Wickles Pickles. Add an exciting new taste to everything from Thanksgiving dinner to Saturday sandwiches. A Wickles pickle will tickle your taste buds just right. Billy's Sports Grill in Birmingham, located in English Village, Overton Road, and coming soon to Northport. Billy's, come on in and feed your goat. And Vulcan Park and Museum, home to the world's largest cast iron statue. For more information, log on to www.visitvulcan.com.
Bring Betty White in. Let her hit the recruiting trail. That's going to be, listen, it'll work out well. That was a Freudian slip, I guess.
The recruiting tail.
All right, here we go.
No, let's keep it. Let's keep it. Totally ridiculous.
This is not the time for...
Is that a car wreck?
Wow.
Go to puntbamapunt.com, spend your 99 cents, and it'll be worth my trip down there.
There we go.
No rains in space. It's a great song.